Okay. And to check YouTube live. Can anyone check the sound on YouTube, please? Sound is good. Okay, great. Well, then let's give it another 5 minutes, just to for people to join.
Right, we still have time. We still have time.
Yeah. You want something to drink?
That's okay. I just have one. I fell victim to the dramatic.
Let me zoom out for a bit. You can zoom in on you when the demo is for you.
Yeah, something is weird about the calibration.
Yeah,
it doesn't look strange on my screen, but it's probably some discrepancy between.
It has this kind of yellow,
yellowish hue.
Yeah, yellowish light to it. Looks a bit like the sun.
No inside jokes in the stream.
No. We're going to give it another minute or two before we start. Color is very off-putting. Oh. Yeah.
I mean, I can try changing settings.
Ja, dat is wel dat ik binnenkrijg in Teams.
So, should I try or?
Could you go to the next slide?
Oh, it's the same.
Yeah.
I'll try. I'm gonna.
Yeah, go for it.
Disconnect for a moment here.
So we booked the huge meeting room. Expecting a
huge crowd.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
Nightlight. Let's turn this off and see if it changes things. This should be better.
It's at your desktop now, so if you can move to
yes.
Is the color better now? It seems to be on my end, but I'm not sure what it shows on the stream.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay.
Now it's just burning my eyes, but okay. I can live with that for like an hour or so.
Okay. Great. Thank you for that.
Sacrifice. Right.
It's good. Okay. So maybe quickly before we begin, we're not going to live stream the whole meeting, so we'll do a demo section first, then a public Q&A, and afterwards we can still have a private internal Q&A should you have any questions that you feel like you don't want to ask publicly. So feel free to ask questions in the public or the private part. That being said, let's begin. So hi everyone, welcome to the iText live stream, the first one in which we'll demo some new RUPS features. My name is Michael Demey. I'm the research manager at iText, and with me is
Matthias. So I'm one of Michael's friends in the research team.
Yeah. Okay. So today we'll show you a few RUPS features that we've added in the past few weeks, months, and that will also add in the next few days, weeks, etc.
Yeah.
Could you go to the next?
Yes.
So maybe first briefly for the people on stream who aren't familiar with what RUPS is. RUPS is a PDF debugging tool that we developed a long time ago, and we've used it, at least I use it daily, this tool. Every time I see a PDF file, I have this sudden urge to go to RUPS and open this PDF file. It shows you the structure as it is behind the scenes. Like on the left hand, you have the PDF tree view, basically. And it also shows you some content streams, which is a syntax to display pages and to that renders pages and renders the content of the PDF document.
Maybe too early?
Yeah. RUPS has always, like the main focus of RUPS was always reading, like traversing through PDF files. But updating is something that we've added like in a very minimalistic way initially, very naively done actually. And I can say because I added the naive approach all these years back. But now in the upcoming slides, you'll see that we've added better support for updating PDF syntax. So if you can... Okay, so the research team, the internal people will know that we are not really a development focused team. So we focus more on innovation and standardization. So we prototype daily. We work on the PDF standards through the ISO committees and the PDF Association. But our work, our prototypes, our stuff that we do for the standardization always lead to a need for more PDF support, more deeper and more, how do you say this, more expert support of PDF features within iText and within RUPS. Mm-hmm. So that's the context here. So we've internally in the team, we've decided to pick up some stuff that we wanted to develop, like add new features, either from like inspiration or sometimes from frustration, because we are the users and the company as a whole is the maintainer of the project. Uh-huh. So what we've done is we've created a research fork. So we forked RUPS, where we add some secret features. Everyone on this call of the iText company can look at these features, so they're not that secret, but they're not pushed to the public GitHub repo that we have. So what will we add there? We will add secret features. We will add refactoring or some POCs that lead nowhere, basically, just to make our lives easier. Next slide will show you that some of these features can make it into the next public version of RUPS, as have a few of our fixes and features that we'll show today. So first up is the new and exciting features. So this is a big one, as I already hinted at earlier. Content So, okay, hey guys. Apparently, so we have this device in the office, and apparently we blew it up, so there's no connection to the internet anymore.
Yay!
So, Chris, if you're watching, we yeah, we're back. Okay, so where was I? So content streams can have mixed content. But by that I mean that we can have binary content that is presented. Content streams have binary content in them. Either some content is represented as binary content, or there is, for instance, an inline image present in there. The previous state of RUPS wouldn't show, or at least not try to show this content in a legible or understandable way, whereas the new features that Matthias has added will show this content as a hex-encoded string.
But actually, what's even more important is that before these edits, RUPS would actually destroy any binary content in the content stream because it would mess up the encoding when resaving the file. So
exactly,
that was the tricky part. Showing inline images is not. Once you know where they are, it's not too difficult. But making sure it stays compatible with the text-based editing that you do in the UI, that was kind of messy. But well, we managed to make it work. So.
Maybe also worth to note is that while the state is being kept, like is this part of the content stream binary or not, that's still being kept. RUPS in its current state will not try to validate whether or not the thing that you're adding in the binary content or in the textual content is still correct. So that's still, the onus there is still on the consumer, of the user of the RUPS.
And it's always going to stay that way, right? Because, I mean, you're supposed to be able to do all sorts of crazy things using RUPS.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll give a demo on that after the next few slides.
Okay. All right. Now we also have inline image rendering support. So that's one of these kinds of binary content that exist.
Mm-hmm.
We render those in line. You'll see that in a minute. And yeah, finally, we also added internationalization. So that's actually one of the, well, it's a special kind of frustration-driven development, not because we wanted it, but because our CI system kept on badgering us about, you have to add internationalization, otherwise I will not let your commits through. So we caved in and we just added it because, well, it was getting old.
Yeah, this is a very much frustration-driven development. But hey, it works. So if you are a non-English, non-Dutch speaker, feel free to make a pull request. We'll try to get it approved. Of course, given that we can understand your language, find someone who can speak your language.
Right.
Okay, so now we've got some sneak previews for you. So it's a mix of things that are coming on the main line of RUPS, on the main fork of RUPS. They're being developed right now as you speak. They're trying to get through the review process and the merging process. And there's also some stuff in there that is not going to be released in the near future. Some of the more hidden features that we spoke of earlier, a few that we wanted to highlight and showcase. So the first one that is trying to get merged into the main fork of RUPS is having multiple files open. If you are a heavy user of RUPS, you know that in its current iteration, you can only have one open file per window. Like if you have to investigate a few PDF files, you have to have one RUPS window per file, which can be frustrating because it's hard to differentiate between the windows at times. So this feature just adds a tabbed pane, basically. It's a very minimal feature, but it's a very how do you say? There's a very heavily involved code change refactoring in the backend.
Yeah.
This is also relatively new. Maybe Matthias can
yeah, right. So this is very new because I literally wrote this yesterday. So RUPS has a structure view in one of its side panes where it basically displays the logical structure of the PDF document. So what that means is that you're not seeing the actual pages, but the structure as encoded in the document, in the tagging. So that's not something that not all PDF documents have. But, well, for those documents that do have tagging, being able to conveniently navigate the structure tree is very important. So that you can know you can easily diagnose issues with tagging this way. So what this change does is basically it does two things. So it adds extract the text to the structure tree view. So these things between brackets here, they weren't there before. So you just have these numbers, and well, I mean, unless you already know how everything works, it's kind of hard to know what to do with this stuff because, well, if you just have the numbers, then you have to know, okay, well, this is a marked content identifier, and you have to go and look up the correct content stream and, well, scroll until you find the right content item ID and then read what's there. So that, I think we can all agree that that's kind of cumbersome. So what this change does is it basically tries to extract the relevant portion of the text in the PDF document at that point, and it will add it to the structure view so that you can basically see how the textual parts of the documents are within the structure tree, which is something that other tools do. Like, for example, Acrobat's tag viewer also has this, and it's this is a prime example of frustration-driven development because I've wanted this for a long time, so I decided to just add it because I wanted it there.
Like if you have a notion of what your structure looks like in your document, you can kind of figure out where you are in the document.
No.
But like to know what element 1 or 2 is by heart,
right. Yeah, that's impossible.
That's insane.
So that's one thing this change does, and the other thing it does is that now if you click content items, it will take you to the right content stream. Oops. instead of just you have to go back through the PDF structure and finding the right page, finding the right content stream insert page, and so on. So I mean, this thing isn't finished, but yeah, it'll get there in like a week or two, I guess. Right. Then the research fork features, I think you know more about those.
Yeah, so these are like the section that we talked about that are still going to be secret features, the private features for now. Maybe starting with the second one is XFDF merging. I think in February, Matthias?
Yeah, it's February or March. Yes.
Yeah, we released a project on GitHub, XFDF merger, or something like that it's called.
Yeah, XFDF merger.
In which you apply an XFDF file to an existing PDF file. The context in which this was created was the association/ISO, where the errata for the PDF specification was to be distributed using an XFDF file. You could have both files open and then just try to find where the changes are, but the XFDF will allow you to highlight the differences using annotations, which is very easily viewed from your favorite PDF viewer that supports annotations, of course. Mm-hmm. And PDF Cop is a different kind of thing. PDF Cop is a prototype that I've written 2019, 2020 potentially, and it's basically a huge grammar file for content streams. By that I mean it's a file that will list up all the rules of a PDF page, like a text section in a PDF content stream cannot have QQ, for instance, which is stack operators. And PDF Cup will list that in its rule set. So it's basically a big set of rules on what a page can do in PDF. And this can then be used as a sort of compiler between quotation marks to check your content stream syntax to see whether or not it's valid or not, and then throw exceptions or show where the error is on the page. The initial implementation of this is that you can compile, again, quotation marks, because you don't compile content stream syntax, and then it will show you where the errors are. This is still an internal build because the PDF Cup prototype is not going to be made public. So this is still an internal build. So this is for the iText people. We'll also give a short demo on this. And I think then we've reached, the demo section, right?
I think we do. Right, so questions is for after the demo. Right, let's fire this thing up. Let me make sure I get the right build. Okay. So this is the new RUPS launch window. Let me pull up some actual files here. There we go.
So straight away you can see that the new opening, like the open window of RUPS has changed. So now you can already see that there is just an empty tab that you can just drag and drop files into.
So I'm going to open up this file here just for comparison, right? So the file I just dragged into RUPS is this one. It's like some paper on tabular data extraction that I guess is, well, I don't know where I got this, but as you can see, if you zoom in far enough, this thing has bitmap fonts. So why is this interesting? Well, bitmap fonts they can be implemented in a number of ways, but one of the ways they are commonly done in PDF, especially in files built using DEC, which this is an example. They are often rendered as type 3 fonts with inline images for all the glyphs. So this is an ideal file to demonstrate the new inline image rendering facilities. So let's try and find some inline images here. So given what I said about these fonts, okay, I already know where to look, so I'm cheating a bit, but I'm going to find the font here. So as you can see, this is a type 3 font, so this is a good candidate, and it has sharp rocks. And these sharp rocks, they all contain individual glyphs. And if all is well, we should be able to see some inline images here. If I can get this thing, yeah, okay, great. So this is what that looks like, right? So I see a content stream here, and the bit that's usually used for inline image data is now rendered inline as an actual image. So as an actual image of the glyph. And no, I'm not just displaying a huge letter D here. This is an actual image. I'm not cheating. And I could also opt to save the image somewhere if I want to. I'm not going to do that now, but I mean, well, it's all there. I could also like make changes without messing up the image. Let me try and make this thing bigger, for example. Let's see if that does anything funny. We can, right? I'm going to save it to the stream, and then I'm going to save this file. I actually didn't test whether this is a... am I really opening this in read-only mode? Maybe I am. Okay, then I can't demo the updating part easily. No, I was going to try and show the effect on the actual file, but apparently I accidentally turned on the read-only mode of this build. So kind of stupid, but
you'll have to take our word for it.
Yeah. But anyway, so one way I could demonstrate this is by reloading the stream and show that the image still renders. It's not garbled. But yeah, that's one thing. Mm-hmm. Now let's maybe do some PDF structure thingy. Not this one. This one. So the other file that I have here is, and this one I'm going to open up in Acrobat instead of Sumatra because I want to showcase the tagging. So this is just another test file. It's basically just a huge enumeration of list items, and they're encoded. They're rendered inline, but they're encoded internally as a list. This is a paragraph in the structure. It starts with this is an inline list, and then, well, there is a list, as I said, and the list has various items. And as you can see, Acrobat has this convenient feature where it jumps to the right place if you click on an item. And yeah, basically just to showcase that the structure is there. Now we're going to open up the same file in RUPS. Let me go back here, drag this thing. So as you can see, it opened a separate tab, which is very nice.
Very convenient when you're comparing PDF files.
Yes, well, there's not much to compare in these two files, but that's certainly true. So I have the structure tree here in my structure pane. By the way, let me go back to the previous file just to show that not all PDF files have structure, like this one doesn't. It doesn't have a structure tree. This one does, and like we saw in Acrobat, it has this list here. And if I click on the list item, it's going to take me to the content stream. I can browse through that content stream here. What else do we have? Like, for example, this L body, I put some actual text on there just for fun. And it's also nicely displayed in the structure pane. Very convenient. Do I have something with object references here? No, I don't. Well, anyway. Yeah. I guess that's kind of it, right? Maybe another one. This is another fun file that I produced for the PDF Association a while ago in a discussion on how to tag Ruby. So Ruby is this thing that's used in mainly Japanese, but also sometimes in Chinese to annotate characters. And, well, there were a gazillion options to tag these things, and we wanted to agree on one strategy to do so. So I produced a test file demonstrating, I guess, 11 different tagging modes for Ruby. And, well, you can't really see it here, but this is also a tagged PDF. If I open up the tag pane, you can see what I made this a table. It's a table with rows. It starts with a number here. Maybe I should have made this a table header instead of a table data cell. But yeah, it's a test file, right? I can take some liberties. And And here, this is where the interesting stuff happens. So here's a span with Ruby assembly in there, actual multiple ones. So as the description says, there are 3 Rubies, and then the middle thing is in a span. Well, and there are some different strategies here. For example, this one, you can see here that I put 1 Ruby assembly with a bunch of different RBs and RTs. I mean, just to show you that there are a bunch of different options. And this one is also going to look very nice in RUPS now, if we get this right. So Ruby tagging examples, drop this one in here, show some structure. Again, there's a bunch of tables. And here's Ruby. And as you can see, it tells me what text is there. So this is another nice demonstration that it really supports Unicode. And the text extraction is actually text extraction and not just blindly copying the content of the content stream. And the way you can see that, and okay, that requires a bit of background knowledge, but here in the content stream, this is not actual direct Unicode thing it's using here. This is well, it's an Adobe character set that's being used in the content stream, but iText is clever enough to translate that back to Unicode for us. And well, yeah, that's how the text extraction here works. All right. And then there's one thing I didn't demonstrate yet, namely the content stream hex thing. That's for that I'm going to go back to my original file with the type 3 fonts, because that's like just with it's kind of similar to the Ruby file I just showed, because also in this file the text operators in the content stream don't actually use any sort of reasonable encoding. So this is even worse than the Ruby file, because this is not any sort of well-defined character sets. This is a type 3 font, so one of the rules of type 3 fonts is that there are no rules, so you can just make up any old character set, it will work. But it also means that all of the strings look like binary garbage if you just look at them without, the context of the actual type 3 font behind it. And therefore, iText can't decode those automatically. So, I mean, well, it can, but it needs help to do that. But RUPS, when displaying the content streams, doesn't try to do that decoding for you, because, well, you need to be able to translate these things, to edit these things reliably. And yeah, that's not always easy if you try to be too clever there. So what it's going to do here is it's just going to basically translate all these strings of which it doesn't know the encoding into hexadecimal notation, which is very reliably editable. And then I can make some changes here. For example, I could change some things here. I don't know, or whatever, right? And if I save this, it should work. So I said it should work, but maybe it doesn't. I might have screwed up this one. Okay, funny.
It's
right? Yeah, it's probably got something to do with how I started the what's it called the read-only thing that I forgot to turn off. Well, it has some safeguards built in, but they're not perfect, right? So one of the things that I shouldn't be able to do is like delete content that spans both binary and textual content. So if I try to delete this, it doesn't let me. And yeah, what I can do is I can delete entire strings. So that's something that is possible. Undo is also possible, as you can see. Anyway, right.
You can only edit or change the subsections of the strings that are
compatible with each other. That's kind of the idea. Yes. No, oops, that was not what I was trying to do. Let's try and save this to a stream. I think I know what the issue was. Anyway, right. So that's kind of the bird's eye view of how this works.
Thank you, Captain Dust. It is indeed cool stuff. Okay. Anything else that we wanted to show in the demo?
I don't think so. I mean, as far as mainline features go, this is pretty much it, I think.
Yeah. So you can see the tabs already there. they are going through the process of getting a green light on Jenkins because of some UI testing that wasn't enabled just now. So yeah, there's not that much to demo on tabs, right?
No.
Could you launch the PDF cop and the
Right.
XFDF?
I will.
So now we're going to go into the experimental secret research super cool edition.
Well, this is it's only the funny thing is that it doesn't have some of the features in the mainline fork at this point because they diverged a little, but yeah.
Yeah.
There's some merging still required, as you can see, because the UI looks more like the old RUPS in this version. But okay, let's
just any random one.
Yeah, let's pick.
Twice.
Yeah, anyone will do it, right? So PDF cop, right?
Yeah, just so PDF cop again. It's a rule set basically of the PDF syntax on the content stream, and it will try to enforce them. So if you go to the tab stream, yeah,
right, and I will make this bigger. Just a second.
So this is going to show that we are not user experience / UI designers. And I think you press Control F9.
No, it's just F9, I think.
Yeah, let's try both.
No, Fn F9 because I'm on the laptop. So then now it works.
There we
right?
go. Syntax compiled successfully.
Let me try to mess something up.
Mess something up. Remove the BT.
Or yeah, I can remove the BT and then...
Or change it to research is awesome. So again, we are not UX UI developers, but the error message isn't that awesome, let's say. But it tells you on that line 7 there is something wrong.
So it says that there is an ET here, but there is no matching BT. So this token doesn't make sense.
Exactly. So yeah, it could use some fine tuning, but it's a very experimental build. But yeah, Beth is also going to show you.
it's gonna show a different error. So let's do this.
Yeah.
And well, actually, no, it doesn't. Funny. Okay, I thought it was gonna show a different error.
It did show a different error, but it showed a different line number.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So the error reporting can still use some improvement, but it is working. I wouldn't say perfectly because I haven't tested all edge cases. It's working as expected.
Right.
So for the iText developers and iText people on the stream and on the call, you can check this out in the research repo. If you can't access the repo, please let us know, and we'll try to get you some access. I think the last thing that we wanted to show is the XFDF merging.
Right. Yeah. So let me should open up this thing. So the file I just dropped into RUPS is the entirety of the last version of the PDF specification. I'm going to open this with Notepad just to show you.
So the thing is that the PDF specification, let's say it's not perfect. There are some things wrong with it, or at least some things inconsistent, stuff like that. And we try to correct those errors. And one of the ways that we found to do that was to create ISO allows you to create errata documents. And typically that would be a separate PDF file. But we found a way around it with XFDF files, which you can then try to merge into the original file.
Yeah. By the way, we did not create this.
No, this was provided by the PDF Association.
Yeah.
Could you show something?
Yeah. So am I not sharing anything?
Yeah, you're sharing.
Right? No. Okay. So I was trying to show here that XFDF is just XML and it contains all the data for the annotations here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to apply this XML to the specification.
Maybe show first that there are no annotations on the page.
Right. Yes. That's probably better. Let's do that. I'm going to do not Acrobat.
Right. I thought maybe RUPS if you know which page in the...
Right. Yeah, that would also work. Let's maybe find a section where I know that there are changes. Probably string objects. Right. So here you can see there is a typo here. Oops. Word parenthesis is misspelled. So let's see. I mean, there is an annotation to fix that. So I'm going to try and oops. Yeah, apply. Oops. Yep. Apply XFDF file. So in this very nice swingy file selector.
We are the best graphical designers.
Yay. So I'm just gonna output.pdf is a perfect valid file.
Already output it.
Yeah. Okay, claims that the XJF was applied successfully. Let's see if that's true.
Of course it's true. Believe in yourself.
So let's go and open up output.pdf. So yeah, well, I'm now opening it in Acrobat because I want the annotation navigator here. So as you can see, it now has various annotations. Let's see if I can find the one, yeah, here. So this is the typo that got fixed. So it says parentheses. Now, right, and the obvious question to ask you is why did you not just import these fixes in Acrobat directly? And that's a very good point. But the actual good part of this is that, and now I need to find a way to show you, is that this also works if I go and, come on. I should probably just drag this into my browser. No. Talking and navigating at the same time is difficult. Output of PDF, there we go.
Thank you, Matthew K. Sart. These are indeed some nice features. And Captain Dust, it is indeed a very functional UI. And as Andre mentioned, those are the best kinds of UIs.
Yes.
I do agree. Developer UIs are the best.
Okay. Come on. It should be showing. Well, I should be getting some annotations here. Actually, no. The thing I wanted to demonstrate is that this also works in viewers that don't have interactive annotation support. And this one does, but it's like really limited. So,
if you're looking for the strings one, you already.
Right. Yeah.
7.3 something.
7.3 something. Yes. There we go. Right. So the annotations are also rendered in viewers like PDF.js. They're much more basic. Yeah. Well, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Cool. So that concludes the demos. I think I already saw a question in the Teams chat by Julian. So we had a small question regarding internationalization in RUPS. How is the language chosen when the application is opened?
So you can answer that one,
yeah.
Right?
So going from memory, the locale is loaded in from the system, I believe, and there are so you have as you have with resource bundles in Java, you have the default resource bundle that you fall back onto, and then you have the Dutch and the English versions available. In the future, we would like to customize this that you can set the actual language not dependent on your system, but on your preference. Like if you want to have it in Portuguese, then you're able to do so. But that's a future thing that we're looking at. Right now, it's depending on your system, I believe. Going by memory, it's been a few weeks since we've had more issues trying to get this merged than developing it. Any other question? Let me go to the YouTube chat, see if there's any question there. Again, if you don't want to ask your questions publicly, like if you're doubting if you're asking about classified information or private information, we can take questions in a few minutes. Okay, I don't think I'm seeing any chats in the YouTube channel. So then I'll go ahead and close down the YouTube chat and the live stream. So thanks everyone on YouTube for watching this live, or if you're watching this on demand, thank you for giving us a view. Feel free to check out iText on GitHub, so that's github.com/iText. You'll find our repos there, amongst which the iText RUPS repo as well. Feel free to check out RUPS. Thank you for watching, and